Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission study session for Monday, January 10th, 2022. It is 6:30 p.m. and I will call the meeting to order. Thanks to all the commissioners who were able to make it tonight. We appreciate your service and Happy New Year. We will start with study session item A1, discuss regular agenda items. That will take us down to C1, consider approval of the attendance matrix for the Planning and Zoning Commission as presented and take appropriate action. Everyone good with the attendance matrix? Any questions? I believe everyone is good with that. On to C2. Consider approval of the December 13th, 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. Any corrections?
I was disappointed that these don't include emojis to reflect, our feelings when we're yelling at people about whether their trucks have monitors in them or not. Poor Mr. Vanderberg.
Everything's good on the minutes?
Yeah.
All right. C3, consider a request from St. Mary's Malankara Orthodox Church Incorporated and Protestant Episcopal Church for final plat approval of Dennis Lane Church Edition, lots 1 and 2, block 1, and take appropriate action. Who is doing this case?
Me.
Super. Any questions? So is it a joint ownership?
Joint ownership, maybe it's not joint ownership. There are two separate lots that are being platted in this instance. It's really just cleaning up the lot lines that were running between those, because there were some, as it shows right now, I guess tracks. There show each one owns multiple tracks. So this is cleaning that up to show one lot's gonna go to one church, the other lot goes to the other church, just cleaning up the property lines. They both went into it together and jointly, and that's why we see both their names appear on this. But each one owns one lot.
Got it.
So, how can they own it jointly and own one lot? I mean.
So it's not owning it jointly, they're both going in to plat this property.
Oh,
together.
oh.
So when they're moving the lot line, I assume that it's gonna affect both lots. So as an applicant, both have to sign the application.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Is it part of the presentation or whatever why they want this replat?
To record the easements and correct the lot line.
Right, but is something about to happen, like are they gonna build a new building, or are they gonna?
No,
That's what I
it's
was
just,
thinking. I had the same thoughts.
yeah, it's just
Why do they
plat.
want this?
Did they
It's
initiate
really
it
just
or
to
did
clean up the
city-
lot lines on there.
we initiated it? The applicant
Yeah,
initiated.
the applicant initiated this, and per the applicant, they're just waiting to do it to clean up the lot lines that are currently shown or reflected.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but
I
okay.
thought they were gonna sell or
Sometimes
something.
they have to do some adjustments. It might be based on their internal operations.
Okay, well, maybe the
They're not
applicant can
doing any
like.
new construction or any changes.
They could have sold by meets and bounds and not platted, and so now you have one platted property, but you're supposed to replat before you sell, and don't sell by meets and bounds. That would have been why.
That's what.
So somebody selling, that's what I'm saying, is somebody selling
No,
something?
I'm saying back in the day, they probably
Yeah,
could have acquired
just
the
previously,
property
that may have happened.
30 years ago, right?
Okay.
And so then they're both sitting there going, no, you're supposed to do that. No, I'm not. It's our land, your land. There's no bifurcation. Properly, the easement's dedicated. But if they're selling it, they're not telling us.
I was gonna say, well, then we'll ask the applicant what their plan is.
Further with that, when it comes to plating, as long as they meet all the requirements, we can't
There's nothing you can do.
deny
Yeah,
it,
sure.
no.
No, I'm just being nosy. Why
Sure.
two churches suddenly wake up and wanna replat their easements?
Sure, yeah, no, I get it. It's a fair question.
That Episcopal church is, I mean, like, they used to do a pumpkin patch, and they didn't do it this year, or maybe even last year, and so, like, Christ United took over that, so I don't know if they're slowing down in terms of their,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did that to
congregation.
my church at home, they used to own the whole front lot, and then they sold it to build a doctor's office. I
Yeah.
mean, so stuff's going down.
I have no other purview into it, other than I know they didn't do the pumpkin patch, but
Did
they
do some stuff,
always.
they did, yeah.
Yeah, they've always done that.
Okay.
But they hold services in two different places.
Yes,
they're
yes,
two
it is two
churches.
different churches,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's that, like, real kind of, like, the Orthodox looking one in the
Yeah, yeah.
bag, and then that
Yeah.
traditional one
Yeah.
that's right up there on.
Should we lay a bet with who's gonna buy which church? Whether it's the Orthodox are gonna take over the Episcopalians, or?
Everybody there'd be a fight there.
We're gonna have some Baptist movement.
Maybe some Bavarians are gonna.
Ooh, some Bavarian Catholics. You're gonna go hang out with them,
See, we're real
right?
sneaky like that.
Yeah.
All right, D1.
Yeah, they sneaky.
Conduct a public hearing and consider the request for a specific use permit and associated detailed site plan for gasoline service station and laundromat self-service on approximate .051 acre property located at 14300 Josie Lane and take appropriate action.
All present.
That's Rupa. Any questions on this one?
Yes. Why do they have a drive-through window? I don't see anything about food service and stuff. Didn't I see drive-through window on here?
Was that, where do you see drive?
Hang on. I thought I saw drive-through. Maybe it's just a
Is the
driveway.
gas canopy, you know, like the lane, fire lane that's going around on the site plan?
Let me just, let me get over there. Hang on. I don't have a piece of paper to flip over to.
And
so-
sometimes it's a night window
I think you're
at
seeing the
night
fire
rather
lane.
than,
Yeah, I think
You're seeing
that's
that,
my
the-
guess.
That's the fire lane, that's just showing.
Well, no, actually, it said drive-through. Let me just go here to find it.
In the staff
That's why I
report,
hate using this thing, went on this stuff. Here we go, we're up to it. Link store. And a retail lease space. What are they gonna use the retail lease space for? Just anybody that wants it, or?
that would be a good question for the applicant. With the new expanded building, they just showed a space like that, 800 square feet space as a lease space.
Yeah.
So it was our assumption, our understanding is that for future, like they are gonna lease that space to some retail tenant, but we don't know who that is gonna be yet.
it'll be a
And-
Sometimes they'll do Dunkin' Donuts or some little, somebody like that will come in to sell their stuff through the through the
Convenience store.
convenience
The
store.
convenience store, they are already proposing like a small kitchenette, kind of like your Quick Trips. So they will have that portion with their convenience store layout. And then the central area is the laundromat. On the very southern end is where they're showing that lease space. But again, applicant would be the best person to answer that question. Other than a retail lease space, they did not provide us further detail.
Okay.
I don't know the zoning rules on this. Is there would we then see this case again when they want to put in a vape store there or something like that?
Sorry, what's that?
A vape store,
Smoking.
a smoke
Now,
store?
that would require another SUP.
That would be another SUV.
It wouldn't be allowed.
But if it was just a convenience store, it would go through normal city channels and not.
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, that's a good question and point out on the vape store. If it's a smoking establishment, those of you who were involved last year through that drilling process, because this is a straight LR2 zone, it's not within the entertainment overlay district, they cannot even do a smoking shop or a smoking establishment.
Okay.
They can do a retail store, which does not allow smoking. It's
What, are you
just.
talking about a retail store
Yeah.
that sells vape
Yeah.
or cigarettes?
Yeah, that they can do anywhere in the city without going through any zoning process.
And this whole thing is LR2, so it's not, so we have a legal non-conforming use?
Yes.
And if we don't grant the SUP, it becomes an illegal or?
No. They can operate as the gasoline service station all day long with that same existing building.
Okay.
They just can't expand and do this whole thing.
Okay.
Can you explain to me what is a legal non-conforming?
So it's kind of like grandfathered. For example, what we commonly in layman's term call grandfathered. So right now, the zoning ordinance says that a gasoline service station and a laundromat, like even separately, would require approval of a specific use permit at LR2 zoning. However, when this gas station was built, I don't know how many years back, at that time, they were built without an SUP. Whether that was a new zoning requirement that was added later, or they never got approval of the SUP and they just began there, I don't know the exact history. But what that means is they are currently existing a gas station without a SUP as a legal non-conforming, which means they can exist and operate because they have always been there before the zoning law was put in place. But they're non-conforming because today, if someone else wants to go at a vacant site in LR2 without an SUP, they cannot do the gasoline service station.
So is the intent of this SUP to make them come into a conforming?
Yes, because
Legal
the
entity.
other side of our zoning is we do not allow or we prohibit expansion or worsening of existing non-conformity.
Right.
So if they don't make any changes, they can operate as a legal non-conforming use. But because they are not only expanding, like they're demoing the building, expanding the use, which is making the existing non-conformity worse. And the second thing is they're adding another non-conforming use without, if they weren't going through the SUP, the laundromat requires an SUP. So you cannot add another non-conforming use on top of it. So on two grounds, they need the SUP.
So with all of this, there'll be, if it's
Fully
if
compliant.
they're fully compliant, it will be no more a grandfathered
Right,
situation.
right.
If you have a legal non-conforming like this, and they're not, like, say the tenant is not the property owner gets 6 months to, if the tenant left, doesn't the property owner get 6 months to fill it with
If
the
the-
same non-conforming?
If it's
Business.
vacant, like if they vacate the premises and if it stays vacant for 6 months continuously, then they lose that grandfather status. But if someone similar comes back in that same spot, then they can use that same
Okay.
non-conforming use status.
Okay, so this is where we did the, oh no, that was COP, I was trying to say something. So there's the Sonic
Right.
that's right there. And then this is going to go on the south side of the Sonic. On the north side of the Sonic, in that little strip center thing that runs up to that empty gas company building or something, is there any other laundromat in the area? Are they just building another one, or?
Yeah, if you go down
There
a
are quite a
block.
few.
It's right
I
next to
think there's-
Sonic.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right next
thinking.
to Sonic
There's
is a-
another
is a
laundromat
large
I
right
think there's
there.
one across the street in that proximity as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
I'm
if you go
thinking-
down to, if you go down to the corner of Josie and Valwood, there's a Lone Star Wash and Dry next to the Josie C convenience store. So they're copying and pasting what's down 2 blocks. I just don't see this as being the highest and best use for this land.
Yeah, what you're talking about is right. Just on the other side of
Yeah,
Sonic,
yeah,
there is
yeah.
a rather large laundromat.
It's a little strip center, yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of a separate building all in its
Yes,
own.
it is.
Yeah, I know
So
exactly
I
what
was
you're talking
wondering
about.
why we would want another laundromat in
And then
there.
the one across the street too, is like, you got 3 laundromats.
I mean,
going
I
on
don't,
right here.
I'm fortunate to have my own set, and so I don't know what sort of business is being cycled through there. I mean, I know you have several apartments and, you know, the houses across, like off Dennis, probably weren't built with washer dryer connections, so maybe they've got, you figure there might be, a group of people in those vicinities that would utilize these types of facilities. I personally don't have any anecdotal experience to reference.
I don't, but I'm just thinking of what it looks like down through there.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to upgrade, I know we've got
Preach.
R.L. Turner kind of right across the street. We've got some little freestanding restaurants. I don't drive that way often.
So from the business owner's perspective, wouldn't you think that they're sitting on this property that's got an old building?
Is this it, right here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Old building,
yeah,
old gas pumps,
right.
struggling to make money. Hey, Bertle, how are we gonna fix this? Well, if we tear the building down and we put 3 spaces there, we can keep our gas station. Let's add a laundromat because it's high profit and here's the market analysis.
Right.
And then we'll add a whatever kind of store
A
goes over
convenience
there.
store,
And
right.
we'll have rent from 3 different places and man, we'll be rolling in the dough. We'll just reduce one of those gas pumps. It's a deal, great business deal, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, don't you think that's how they
That's
got
how,
here?
absolutely, I think that's how they
We'll
got
ask-
there.
We can ask them, right?
I mean, that's what I would assume is.
Yeah.
The market
Who owns this?
dictates
Who-
what happens,
Yeah.
I think,
Well,
before they come to us.
yes.
Or they're just
Is
copying
this
what's
it right
across the
here?
street.
Well, you
This
think
is it?
about that
That's
area,
it.
and
It's
like,
the
since
property.
the 80s, I mean, it has like, the church behind it used to be the roller skating rink, you know, and I
Right.
spent many a Friday night there, and truth be told,
You want to tell us more there?
I mean, I was at the age where my parents
Yeah.
dropped me off.
My kids
and
went
took me
there as
out.
to roller skate, yes.
Josie Lane skates.
So
Yeah.
the way I always look at these things is from a higher and better use. A new building is a much higher and better use than the 40-year-old building that's there.
Agreed.
It's gonna be a gas station, it's already a gas station, it's gonna look nicer and newer, that's great. Whether it's a laundromat, or a food store, or a paint store, or whatever other thousand of retail lists it is, I don't know that we can really, except for the ones that are on
It's
the naughty
acceptable
list.
for, I mean, they're coming in with things that are acceptable for the area.
Well, and
Right, it's-
the environs dictate the need for I mean, those are services that people have to have.
And that's why it's almost like when I went to the central area plan and pulled up that land use recommendation, it was funny, it actually listed a laundromat.
A laundromat,
As a
right.
preferable neighborhood services type of use. Yeah, for a retail zoning, is that the highest and best use? Maybe not, but those are also necessary. And what I have heard, again, I don't have a lot of experience or understanding of that business. What I have heard is exactly what Chairman Moore was saying, it's very profitable because there is a demand for it. Maybe that's why they have all this in close proximity. And I agree with you 100% on the improvement, because when I looked at the site, the way it is right now, they are not only increasing the building square footage, they are making improvements on the building exterior overall, and they're planting new trees. Given that they were proposing originally shade trees, we told them to do crepe myrtle because there is existing sewer
Right.
lines on both
Right.
sides. They are meeting the corner lot setback, they're closing down one of the existing drive approaches. So they're
Making
making.
the canopy smaller.
Right, right,
Just
which
over the gas
allows the
pumps.
building to go higher, because
Yeah.
right now that canopy goes almost over the building. So to me, overall, the appearance of the property would improve, and that's an investment in the property. We also have to think about, okay, this property owner is making an investment in the
But
property
it's
as well as
kind
in
of
the
slippery slope when you
community.
start to try to choose what business goes in somewhere. You know, it's not a laundromat, it's,
Yeah.
what else? I mean, you need to get,
I
and
think we all agree it would be a nice renovation for the area, but do we really need 3 laundromats within 150 feet of each other?
but is that, I mean,
That's-
is that are we in a position to make that call? I mean, maybe you do. I mean, we're not. I
Well,
mean,
so let's say that even if the laundromat is okayed, but what if we have laundromat, because they're all
Or another
okayed?
type of business and type of business, type of
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
type of-
all
I
the
think
same.
I think I'd be most interested to know if there's any current conceptual ideas for the third tenant. Because
That's a very valid question for the applicant.
I agree.
if
Because
that's
they said
something
we
that
don't
would
know.
be
Something
either
that
something that would be
I
an
asked,
SUP,
yeah.
or if, because to me, this screams smoke shop, liquor store.
Liquor
or-
stores are not gonna be allowed in Farmers Branch anymore.
Well, okay, a smoke shop, or they're gonna expand their beer section, or they're gonna do some, just
They cannot sell beer and wine at this location either, because they're not within the overlay.
not even with an SUP.
Nope.
But we added Magical Beer Land over there by where I live.
That was, both overlays were expanded to the peninsula.
You will
tract.
never forget it.
Okay.
If you'll move to this area, you won't have the overlay problem.
I'll just have laundromat. I'll be in laundromat land instead of Magical Beer Land. Jeez, okay, all right, I wanna know what that third tenant's gonna be and what their ideas are. If it's a conforming use and they're gonna improve the
Well, maybe
property.
they don't know. I mean, I think it's a good question because it was one I would ask, but.
Well, they're gonna lie to me and tell me they don't think it's a smoke shop, and then when it
Well,
becomes a smoke shop.
and they may not know who it is. Maybe they're just hoping they'll have
whatever
a.
you wanna hear.
Exactly.
But if you notice, Pizza Hut will go into a small area, or they've got a little
You know
donut.
what?
mean,
I didn't think about that. That could be a Pizza Hut.
So they've got, a lot of
There we go.
stores will go into these.
Sure.
Service stations, and it's 2 things or 3 things, a Schlotzsky's or a sandwich shop, or even though they have a little kitchen thing, don't they? So they could do something. So this is what I thought maybe the drive-through window was for, but I can't find it where it
You
said
picked the
drive-through.
better angel there. I'm gonna hope it's a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and maybe they don't know. Maybe they're gonna go try to find out. But, so was this gas station property sold to these people and someone came in and
No,
purchased
this
it?
is the original owner.
The original, okay.
So it's still the current owner who is
Okay.
doing this work.
Yeah.
And so I know you can't, can't dictate the building materials, right? But so what I see in the
they're
elevation, it looks
proposing-
like cinder blocks.
Yeah, and they are proposing very little EFS. Most of it is stucco or brick.
There's Nothing we can do about that, right?
Stone, brick, yeah, CMU. No, we cannot really dictate the material, and
Or the color or anything? I mean, can you, is there anything, any leverage at all, of any kind or no?
yeah, actually, if you don't like this off yellow color,
Well, I don't even know if that's the color.
It's brick, it probably is the color.
Was it brick or just?
This is
it says brick,
Yeah.
decorative CMU block modular, which is basically like it's gonna be a patterned
Okay.
that looks like
But it's CMU,
it's
like you
CMU,
said, so
yeah.
concrete blocks.
I'm sure you can ask the color question, that if they have a material board or
Yeah, I'm not,
something.
again, I don't want to get, I'm going to get involved with helping them pick their color. I just wasn't sure if there was, what the ability was to regulate that. I mean, are there, in an SUP or in any of these districts, do you, like an HOA, the HOA can tell you, you can have these 6 colors, but I would assume that that's not the case, right? They can pretty much, yeah.
You're just gonna be staring at that concrete brick for the next 40 years.
Right.
They only
Until
can do
the-
that in the form-based code, like around the station area. That's where you get into being able
Being
to,
able to look.
because there's
looks like.
a decorator plan, I don't know what they call it. It's a book
Yeah.
that tells you, you know, these are the things you can use and all that kind of stuff. And because it's form-based code, I think it gets around the law, sort of, that law about materials. I don't know if you can still select materials, but it's in the form-based code, so they have to follow what's in the form-based code.
Gotcha.
So this does and doesn't apply to this, but, so it's something I've been thinking about though. So, you know how many people are, so these are, I can't tell if those are crepe myrtles, but they certainly might be, because I know they said they had 2 on site already. And those are not trimmed back, but we have people planting, and then they cut the freaking tops off of them and square them out. And they die within a certain amount of time, and they don't spread out, and they're not really nice looking, and I don't know why they do that. Is there any way, I don't think we could restrict them and say you can't cut the tops of them off, but can we put, it's preferred if you don't? Or we encourage you not to trim them back to looking like 3 sticks? Or, you know, cutting the top out of them. And y'all have seen it, it's everywhere.
It's called crepe murder. I call
It's called crepe murder, yes. And they're already doing it over some of them after this last
It's happening
freeze.
everywhere.
And it is bad for the landscape, the trees don't live as long, they're not as pretty in the, it knocks them out of shape. Is there any way in our stuff, when someone's gonna plant a crepe myrtle, that we could say, thou shalt not top the crepe myrtle?
Yeah, it should be illegal.
You know what, Burl? I think you've just developed your city council platform.
I think
End
so.
crepe myrtle murder.
End it.
Law and order.
Or I'm sending someone after you.
Well, actually, when we do get to hopefully bring back the landscape ordinance, there are verbiage that we can put that says like proposed plant material should be maintained in a natural vegetative growing state. Because that by definition means
Okay.
it's natural vegetative growing, like you cannot artificially chop it off. And it can also sometimes mention that if you're planting, like for, depending on the type of tree or
Uh-huh.
the species, at fully mature, it has to be at least this high, or at the time of planting this high, and then fully mature this high.
Well, for a crepe myrtle, you can get them that are fully grown this big, or, 20 feet tall. So, maybe we could specifically say, as in a crepe myrtle, when we do this. Anyway, we'll work on that then, so. just a
Okay,
point.
that leads us back to A2. Discuss agenda items for future planning and zoning commission consideration.
Bring back the landscaping ordinance.
I just have a very quick update. I know we were talking a little bit before the meeting started about the joint meeting on Saturday, January 22nd. I have sent a meeting invite to all of you all while I was before the meeting. So just so that it's on your calendar. We have finalized a speaker. His name is Rick Cole. He's the executive director of Congress of New Urbanism. He's gonna come and speak about new urbanism and complete streets, the overall, what we have been asked to discuss and bring to council at a joint meeting. And then on that same, and I have included a draft agenda with the meeting invite as well. By draft, I mean that's the overall topic that's gonna be discussed. So after Rick's presentation, there will be a brief break, and after the break, we'll do a presentation on attainable and affordable housing. I know everyone was very interested on that topic, so it's a good day to have that discussion as well, because it's a joint session between P&Z and council, and we're gonna get hopefully policy direction on where they wanna go. After that, there is a comprehensive plan RFP update. We have sent out the RFP for the citywide comprehensive plan as well as the station area code expansion on December 20th. So I don't know how much update I'll have by that date, but I'll try to give them some update in terms of how many people have called and what kind of interest it has generated. We will try to bring back also David's idea about promoting the thought of using the Planning and Zoning Commission as the steering committee for the comprehensive plan study. So I'll try to bring that up also. But in a nutshell, that's what we're looking at for January 22nd. I was working with Kevin. We'll hopefully get the presentation recorded, the video. So if someone, for some reason, cannot make it, then we'll have the video available for us for future use. Then the bus tour for February, I believe I have on your calendar for both, February 3rd and 17th. 3rd is the Fort Worth, the near South Side tour, and then 17th is Richardson, City of Richardson. And since then, I have talked with Doug McDonald, and we are going there tomorrow to kind of do a on-site kind of assess and find out which areas might be of interest besides the TOD projects. So once I get more, I'll get back with you with some final routes. Council members, 3 council members have shown interest that they're gonna join you all at the tour. Councilman Williams, Councilman Merritt, and Councilwoman Ritana.
Say those again, who was it, Ratana and?
Crystal Ritana, Tracy Williams, and David Merritt.
Okay.
Crystal, I think, is still tentative about the second date. She's gonna confirm later, I believe. 3 zoning board of adjustment members have also shown interest because we have historically had invited ZBA members, and then staff. So it's about 22, 23
Right.
people on the bus.
That's great.
I think that's what I have.
I just want to make clarification on the January 22nd joint meeting with council. That's going to be located here in the city hall, not at the fire station.
No, yeah. So it is in the agenda. I hope it says in the agenda.
I just want to
It's
make
in
sure.
absolutely. It's in the training hub downstairs. Do you all know where the training
Where it
hub
is?
is?
Is that where our last joint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Far
Just
right.
go to the right, all the way to the end, turn left, go all the way to the end, and you'll see a bunch of people there.
So that's where the Saturday meeting is gonna be. What you had heard about the fire station, that's for the council strategic retreat on that same week or the coming week on Wednesday, 26th. That's on fire station 2.
Thank you.
When
Right.
do we get to ride the fire engine?
If there's no more discussion, I will close the meeting at 6:59 PM.
Oh, true, yeah.
Farmers Branch, yeah. It's very.
comes out, and then you can get a really nice upright.
Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Monday, January 10th, 2022. It is 7:04 p.m. and I will call the meeting to order. I'd like to thank all the commissioners for your service today and wish everyone a happy new year. We'll jump right in with citizen comments. Item B, this agenda item provides for an opportunity for citizens to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the commission should complete a citizen comments registration form and submit it to the chairman prior to the start of the meeting. There's a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak, with a reasonable limitation on speakers on one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on the same topic item. Anyone wishing to speak shall be courteous and cordial. The Planning and Zoning Commission is not permitted to take action on any subject raised by a speaker during citizen comments. However, the Planning and Zoning Commission may have that item placed on a future agenda for action, refer the item to the Director of Planning for further study or action, briefly state existing city policy, or provide a brief statement of factual information in response to the inquiry. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to item C1. Consider approval of the attendance matrix for the Planning and Zoning Commission as presented and take appropriate action. As stated in the City of Farmers Branch Ethics Handbook for elected officials and advisory board members, all appointed members should make every effort to attend regularly scheduled meetings. Per Ordinance number 3563, adopted April 2nd, 2019, any person appointed by the City Council to a board or commission as either a regular member or alternate member shall be automatically considered for removal by the City Council after such person has been absent from 2 regular or special meetings of the board or commission to which the person is appointed during any period of 12 consecutive months, which absences have not been excused by an affirmative vote of the board or commission to which the person is appointed. A comprehensive attendance matrix has been developed to keep record of these excused and unexcused absences. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the attendance matrix as presented.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bertle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Petraza. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item C2, consider approval of the December 13th, 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. Staff recommends approval of the minutes of the December 13th, 2021 meeting. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes.
I have a motion from Commissioners Jones.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Neal. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item C3, consider a request from St. Mary's Malankara Orthodox Church Incorporated and Protestant Episcopal Church for final plat approval of Dennis Lane Church Edition lots 1 and 2, Block 1, and take appropriate action.
All right, can all of y'all see that?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so for agenda item C3, we are looking at a final plat for the Dennis Lane Church Edition. It is zoned largely institutional, religious, and office. And this is going to be a final plat for 2 lots, lots 1 and 2 being along Dennis Lane and at the corner of Dennis Lane and Valwood. Lot 1 being about 4.3 acres, lot 2 being just shy of 2.5 acres, with the overall size being 6.73 acres. Other than that, with this being a plat for 2 lots, staff is recommending approval of this final plat as presented. And if you do have any additional questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything on staff side.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Is the applicant here? No. Okay. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the final plat of Dennis Lane Church Edition, lots 1 and 2, Block 1.
I have a motion from Commissioner Petraza. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Jones. All in favor? It is unanimous. And finally, D1, conduct a public hearing and consider the request for a specific use permit and associated detailed site plan for gasoline service station and laundromat self-service on approximate 0.51 acre property located at 14300 Josie Lane and take appropriate action. Sarupa.
Thank you, Chairman Moore. Good evening, everyone. Shrupa Sen, Planning Department. The subject property on your screen, shown on this aerial photo, is located at the northeast corner of Josie Lane and Cooks Creek Place, about half an acre in size and zoned local retail 2 or LR2. There is an existing 1440 square foot gasoline service station and convenience store on this property. The proposed request from the applicant is to demolish the existing building, construct a much bigger 5,000 square foot convenience store, laundromat, and retail lease space. The application is for the SUP that is required under LR2 zoning for both gasoline service station as well as self-service laundromat. On the left on your screen is the proposed detailed site plan, as well as on the right is the proposed landscape plan. From a layout standpoint, if you can see, this existing drive approach on Cooks Creek Place will be closed with this proposed change in the layout, and they will be accessing the site through the 2 existing driveways on Josie. A portion of the existing canopy will be reduced in size, like kind of cut down, because that portion extend over this existing building. This rectangle in interior, or this shaded rectangle, it's easier to see on the landscape plan, is the existing building that's going to be demolished. The new building, the expanded one, about 50 feet wide, and this is the outer rectangle of the new building. This 3-suite layout that you can see interior to the proposed building, this section is going to be the new convenience store with a small kitchenette portion. Our public health department has reviewed the plan, and they will review further for the grease trap and all that requirement associated with the kitchen. They will review it further when they come in for building permit after the SUP approval. The middle suite, suite 120 as they have proposed, is going to be the self-service laundromat, and this southern section, as stated as suite 100, is shown as a lease space for future retail. We don't know who the exact occupant of that retail lease space will be. The applicant is present here tonight. I'm sure they will have more information for you if you ask them. Another aspect of the site layout, you'll see that this is a corner lot, so they're required to meet by zoning as well as their recorded plat, 25-foot front yard setback on both Josie and Cooks Creek Place site, and they meet that requirement. With their new landscape plan for this work, they're proposing landscaping all around the site, kind of the perimeter of the property, and proposing this ornamental crepe myrtles along the rear of the property as well as on the side facing Cooks Creek. The reason we could not allow the shade trees on the perimeter of the property is because there is an existing sewer line that runs along the rear side of the property as well as on the southern side. They're also proposing to add 2 crepe myrtles on this small landscape strip along Josie. So overall, the property improvements involve addition of landscaping, a bigger building, as well as, if we go to the building elevations, improved exterior, as well as the height and variation and articulation of the building is different than what is there on site. There are some site photos included in your packet. You'll see it's a much smaller building, kind of a small rectangular box, whereas they're adding this storefront kind of feature, which is your 3 main entry points of the 3 suites, as well as the raised portion along the main entry point. From a comprehensive plan and land use recommendation standpoint, this is within the city's central area plan, the comprehensive plan for this area of the city, and is designated as retail district, as shown in this kind of dark circle. This is the area where the property is. If you look at the plan says retail districts are intended to provide localized services for adjacent neighborhoods, provide dry cleaners, pharmacies, convenience stores, and other similar neighborhood services type land uses. And neighborhood retail areas are kind of your general one-stop shop locations. Therefore, the existing gasoline service station and the proposed retail building are consistent with the central area plan future land use recommendations. From a public hearing standpoint, we were required to send zoning notification letters that we mailed out on December 30th. 7 zoning notification letters were mailed. Till date, staff has not received any correspondence regarding this public hearing, and staff recommends approval of the specific use permit and associated detailed site plan. If you have any question, we'll be happy to answer, and the applicant is present here tonight along with the property owner if you have any question for them. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarupa. I do have a couple of questions for you. Is the parking lot going to be replaced?
So the parking, the way they are proposing right now, they're required to have 13 parking spaces. They're proposing 14. So they meet the surface parking requirement for retail. And they are restriping some of the existing spaces, but removing, there were some that are in front of the existing building, like 2 parallel spaces. And there were 2 spaces, if you can follow, like in this area. So they are repurposing the parking, like they're now proposing parking along the southern edge because they're removing that existing drive approach, so they could add those 8 spaces there. And
So the current, the photograph that says view from Cooks Creek, that looks like there's a relatively new driveway there, that's going away?
well, the driveway has always been there. The relatively new pavement that you were looking at, that's probably because their plan of removing that one or reducing that one pump, and I miss mentioning that when I was talking about the site layout. Currently, they have 5 pumps. They're reducing it to 4 pumps, and they had to relocate the underground storage tank to do that work. And that's why that area, they had to disturb the pavement, and that's why you see the new pavement. But their plan with this overall site improvement is to get rid of that drive along Cooks Creek.
Okay, so this drawing, the plat or whatever you want to call it, that where there is no drive there, you're basically confirming the drive is going away?
Yes.
Okay,
That's why they're saying on the plan existing approach to be removed.
okay. And then really my question on the parking lot was the material. It looks like it's currently a combination of asphalt and concrete. And like you say, now there's concrete because they replaced where a storage tank was. Is there a plan to replace the asphalt, or do you know?
That would be a good question for the applicant. I know the construction area would be concrete where the new building is going to go, but I don't know whether they're going to replace all of the existing asphalt pavement.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Yes, Roger.
Yeah, I think I may have spoke to you briefly about this a while ago, but I just want to make sure that if we were to move forward with this, they're currently a legal, non-conforming business.
Yes.
And just want to make sure that if we move forward with this, that would bring them into full compliance and
Yes.
be a legal conforming business. Okay.
It would be just a legal land use.
Okay.
Commissioners, any more questions for staff? Seeing none? Okay, so does the applicant have a presentation?
No.
Okay, but I think we do have some questions for the applicant. So if the applicant can come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Fred Gagiani. I'm representing the owner. He's also here as well.
Thank you. And your address?
Say again?
Address?
Address 1411 Lima Drive, Suite 205, Carrollton, Texas 75007.
Thank you. So I'll start with the parking lot. Is the plan to replace the parking lot that looks like it's currently asphalt and concrete, or leave it as is?
No, we're going to completely make it all concrete.
All concrete? Okay, thank you. We'll start with Roger. Do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, could you explain to us how you made the determination that a laundromat is the most appropriate for your business right there?
Well, basically, we've been looking at a lot of different options, and I think the owners had always had intention to open a laundromat in the past before they got into the gas station business. So when they decided to make this building a large bigger, the laundromat kind of fit into that, right in that idea. So that's how it came into.
And what sort of hours of operation would you allow or have for that laundromat?
I think it's going to be from morning 7 until 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's all I have for now. So.
Commissioner Jones?
So picking up on the theme, has there been any kind of feasibility study or any kind of business evaluation of why now, why this?
Well, don't really know about that, but I think what I understand from the owners that they've been here for a little longer and they see potential to grow the business. There's a lot of land sitting on the side in the back, and they see, okay, they paid a good price to get this business, and they want to spend some more, because if you look at the current condition of the building, it's really old, short, tiny, and they wanted to make it a good looking building. And they've been, I think, waiting for long for this planning to make this building a larger in size. I think maybe there is more funding available now through the bank, to the business who have been long in business at a good prices. So he wanted to avail the opportunity to kind of take the loan, make the building bigger, and make it a nice place.
And with the third space, if you will, you have the gas station, convenience store part, and you have the laundromat. In that third space there, what is intended, or what are likely applicants for that space?
I think the owners want to invite either an insurance place or a nail spa, something along that line. They don't know yet, but they're going to actively invite some insurance agency to come and take up that lease.
Is there and this may be a question for staff, is there a personal service limit for that zone? All right.
Retail land use, LRT zoning would allow personal service.
Okay. And would it allow insurance?
It's office.
Okay, awesome. Then I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
Commissioner Brittle.
Mine's on the planting stuff, of course, which is usually, so you do have the crepe myrtles coming down, you know that, then you've got the sidewalk, and then in the little easement there, in one of these pictures, you have a very large live oak. Sure. So, but I just re-looked at this, and those crepe myrtles will only be 6 to 8 feet. Please make sure that they are not the great big ones,
Yes.
so that they do well.
No, we went with the staff, and we kind of made sure that we will make sure that, those are not the one who's going to go.
Yeah, the great big ones.
Yes.
And then I'm going to plead with you, owner, please do not cut the top off of those crepe myrtles in the winter. Leave them alone, let them grow. Thank you.
Commissioner Petruzza.
Hi.
Hi.
I really just want to make a comment. I'm looking at the elevations, and I like the front facade, the use of the Austin limestone, and I would encourage you guys to maybe do something kind of neutral that plays off that Austin limestone. There are some houses going up in my neighborhood that look great, where they're utilizing some of that Austin limestone and then matching brick color, and it looks really nice. So
Sure, we'll
thank
definitely
you.
consider.
Yes.
I do have another question.
Jump in.
So do you have any idea who would be in that rent space? What are you looking for, and what kind of business?
Like we're
lease-
hoping that we would invite an insurance, someone who can sell insurance, or maybe a nail spa or something like that.
Or what?
A nail
Nail
spa,
spa.
salon.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Miller.
Yeah, and between the convenience store and the laundromat, there's a 6-foot overhead door.
Yes.
Just curious as to what the use for that door is, and will that remain closed during business, or like what is the purpose of that
No, it will
door?
be open during the business hours,
So that it'll be open between the laundromat and the
between the
convenience
laundromat,
store?
so that, when people are sitting, they can either go to the next door, grab a drink, or, grab something, come back, just to make it a convenience for them.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can you tell us, is the color that's depicted on this the actual color? Is it going to be that gold color?
Yes, hold on, let me quickly ask my
Okay,
designer, he's
thank
here
you.
with me. Very similar to that, right? Yeah, it's going to be very similar to that.
Okay. I think what I'm hearing Commissioner Petraza saying, and I'm echoing it, is if you could relook at that and maybe match more the limestone color.
Okay.
To make it a little more neutral.
Okay.
That would be a preference of the commission,
We'll
or at least of two of the commission.
No, we'll definitely take that.
Okay. Any more questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
This is a public hearing. I will now open the public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to speak on this topic, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing that no one's here, I will now close the public hearing. Commissioners, any more conversation, discussion? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the specific use permit and the associated detailed site plan.
I have a motion from Commissioner Petraza to recommend approval of the specific use permit and associated detailed site plan. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Brittle. All in favor? It is unanimous. This goes to council
On February 1st.
on February 1st. And with that, I believe we have exhausted our agenda, so I will adjourn the meeting at 7:26 PM.